Welcome back to 242 Math. I am your host, Raphael Thompson, and today we will be doing some BJC work. So BJC students, get ready. Get your pen, pencil, geometry set, and graph paper. Get everything ready for BJC Syllabus Test 2. We'll be exploring the entire BJC syllabus again, and you'll be given questions at the beginning which you need to attempt. Remember, you have to work fast, guys. Work real fast. And then at the end, we'll give you the answers. Here we go. 1. Estimation. The police estimated that to the nearest 100, some 8,200 persons attended the New Year's Day Junction Parade. Give the minimum number of persons who could have possibly attended this parade. Remember, the number there is rounded to the nearest 100. So you want to give the minimum number who could have possibly attended the parade. Do it quickly. And we move on to number 2, decimal places. Write these numbers correct to 2 decimal places, 2 DP. 1.255, 0.892, 12.999. C would be the hardest one. It's really not that hard once you know what you have to do. Don't get confused with C. You can work that out. That's 3 marks right there, guys. Hope you get all of these marks. Decimal places. So you know what's coming up next. Got it? Right. After decimal places, significant figures, guys. Yes. Write these numbers correct to 2 significant figures. There's a difference between decimal places and significant figures. What is it? Right. You should know it by now. Your exams are coming up shortly. Okay, 3A, 1.2564, B, 0.89991, and C, 12.0935. Okay, let's move on to number 4, 4 rules. On the island of Grand Bahama last election, 39,276 persons registered to vote. However, 7,209 persons did not vote. How many persons voted? Give your answer in word form. Wow. So you got to work it with numbers, but you have to give your answer in word form. This is different, but you still should know how to work it. Just give your answer in word form once you work it, and you should be able to work it. Go ahead, get your answer. Waiting for you. 4 rules. They can throw any type of question at you. You got to know whether you add, subtract, multiply, divide. Just do them and then get your answer. Here we go. Using a table, guys. 5. Complete the following table. Fraction, decimal, percent. In fraction 1/5. Change it to decimal, change it to percent. And then you have the decimal 0.15, change it to fraction, change it to percent. And then you have the percent, 60%, change it to decimal, change it to a fraction. You have to know how to manipulate items on a table like this to change between a fraction, decimal, and percent. You're changing from one to the next. You should know how to do it. Once you get decimal, then it's easy to find the percent. Got it? Waiting. Finish up. Now you should be done. Averages. Complete the following table. You have some numbers there. 1, 2, 3, 5 numbers. 5, 3, 15, 5, and 2. Find the mean. Find the mode. Find the median. And find the range. What do these words mean? You should know by now. If you have done the past tests, you would have done something like this before. It was right on the previous test. Syllabus test 1, mathematics syllabus test 1. Mean, mode, median, range. You should know how to find those things. The mean would probably be the hardest thing to find once you know what to do. Go ahead, work. Still waiting. Work it. Work it. And we move on to number 7, fractions. Solve. 1 2/5 plus 2 1/2 divided by 2 1/4 minus 1 1/2. Work your brackets, then divide. The easiest way to deal with these so you won't have any problems is just change them all to improper fractions and work. Simplest thing to do. I mean, you could do it the other way, but I would just change them all to improper and then work it down. Okay, still waiting on you. You can finish it. Waiting. Good. Let's move on. Decimals. 8. Complete the following table by changing the miles to kilometers and write the answer to the nearest kilometer. Use 1 mile is 1.6 kilometers. Location is Miami. Distance from Nassau in miles, 187 miles. And change that to kilometers. And you want it to the nearest kilometer. Go ahead, work it quickly. Do what you have to do. Put your answer in kilometers. Remember, write your answer to the nearest kilometer. And these distances would be approximate. And we move on to number 9, ratio. Ray, Fran, and Pat went for crabs. Ray caught 8 crabs, Fran caught 12 crabs, and Pat caught 15 crabs. A. Write the ratio in simplest terms to show the amount of crabs caught by Pat to the amount of crabs caught by Fran. And B. Write the ratio to show the amount of crabs caught by Ray to the total amount of crabs caught. Work it. Remember how you write ratio. And remember the first one, A, we need it in simplest terms. Okay, and remember the first part, simplest terms, guys. Okay, 10, proportion. Pat mixes 2 cups of sweet milk into a gin, sweet milk, and coconut water mix. How much gin and coconut water should he add to make a 3 to 6 to 13 mix? Okay, he mixes 2 cups of sweet milk. And remember, the items are in the order gin, sweet milk, coconut water. And so they would match up with 3, 6, 13 in that order. Okay, so gin, sweet milk, coconut water matches up to 3. The ratio 3, proportion 3 to 6 to 13. You need that in order to work it. But it's 2 cups of sweet milk. Okay, let's move on. Simple interest. 11. Sam places $12,500 in a bank at a rate of 2.5% for 2 years. A. Calculate the simple interest. And I gave you the formula, guys, to help you. Simple interest is equal to PRT over 100. P, principal. R is rate. T is time. B. Calculate the amount of money Sam will have at the end of the 2 years. Amount is the principal plus the simple interest. No excuse for getting any of these wrong. I gave you the formulas, guys. Use the formulas and work it out. The 2.5, don't let that scare you. Change it and then work it out. And we move on to hire purchase. Number 12. Tom went to a furniture store to purchase a bedroom set. The set cost $8,000. He decides to use the hire purchase plan for $9,800. In this plan, he has to make a down payment of 10% of the cash price and then pay equal monthly installments for a period of 36 months. A. Calculate the down payment. And B. How much is each installment? Okay, it's not that hard to work this, so don't get frightened by the many words. You can work it, so do the down payment first and then figure out how much each installment is. And we move on to number 13, sets and Venn diagrams. A survey of 30 students in grade 7 at BJC McPherson High School for vanilla, chocolate, and strawberry ice cream revealed the following. 3 students liked all 3 flavors. 5 liked vanilla and chocolate. 8 liked vanilla and strawberry. 6 liked chocolate and strawberry. 12 liked vanilla. 15 liked chocolate and 12 liked strawberry. Complete the Venn diagram and indicate how many students did not like any of the 3 flavors. Draw your 3 circles, draw your Venn diagram, guys, and put in the numbers. Remember where you start, and remember how you figure out the rest. Okay, only one of those numbers you're placing on the Venn. You have to figure out the rest. Go ahead, work the Venn. Do it quickly. And we move on to squares, cubes, and roots. 14 solve. Square root of 1 plus the cube root of 27 plus 12 to the power 3 minus 20 to the power 2. Figure out each one and then do your calculations to get a final answer. Let's go. You can work it. Do it quickly, guys. The hardest thing there is 12 to the power 3, 12 to the 3. Work that and see what you get. The rest of them are straightforward. So add the numbers, the 3 numbers at the front, then subtract 20 to the power of 2 from that answer at the front. Okay, let's move on to wages. 15, complete the following table: hourly pay, daily pay 8 hours, weekly pay 5 days, monthly pay for 4 weeks, and you have the monthly pay $960. So figure out the weekly, then figure out the daily, then figure out the hourly pay. Go ahead, you're working backwards to do this one. You had one similar to this on the previous test, but I gave you the hourly pay and then you had to figure out the rest. Now you have the monthly pay. Now you have to work it backwards to get the hourly pay. Go ahead, you can do it. It's straightforward. Got it? Do the hourly. Okay, move on to rate. 16. Anne has a car that can average 15 miles to 1 gallon of gasoline. She traveled 60 miles from Memphis to Governor's Harbor. A. At this rate, how many gallons of gas will she need? B. If 1 gallon of gas costs $4.25, calculate the cost of gasoline to cover the round trip. Okay, so do A. How many gallons of gas will she need? Do that quickly. She's traveling 60 miles from Memphis to Governor's Harbor. And then B, if 1 gallon costs $4.25, calculate the cost of gasoline to cover the round trip. Be careful with that because it says round trip. Say it again, round trip. You know what that means. So don't let them trick you. Number 17, measurement. Foreign vessels fishing in Bahamian waters only allowed to bag 20 pounds of scale fish. A, if 1 pound is about 0.5 kilogram, change 20 pounds to kilograms. B, change the answer in A to grams. Okay, go ahead and work A. Change 20 pounds to kilograms. 1 pound is about half a kilogram, 0.5 kilogram. And then once you get that answer for B, just simply change it to grams. Change the kilograms to grams. And measurement number 18, second part. Francis bought 12 pieces of lumber to build some benches. Each piece of lumber is 210 inches long. A, give the total length of these pieces of wood in feet. And B, convert the length of one piece of lumber to feet and inches. Okay, so give the length now of all of the pieces of wood that she bought in feet. And once you have done that, then you have to convert the length of one piece of lumber to feet and inches. Go ahead and work it. And number 19, integers. New York recorded the following temperatures for 5 winter days: -2, 5, -5, 0, -3 degrees. Arrange these temperatures in descending order. And B, calculate the mean temperature. So work on A, write them in descending order first. Last test we dealt with ascending order, now we're dealing with descending order. And then calculate the mean. Do it quickly. Got it? Good. Graphs. The graph shows how Tommy traveled one day. Calculate the average speed of his journey from home to school. Okay, calculate the average speed of his journey from home to school. One average speed. So you should know what numbers you have to look for to find this average speed just from home to school. Should be about completed that one now. Number 20. Number 21, geometry. Find the missing angle in this regular shape. So this is a regular polygon. That is important. Once you know that, you have to find the missing angle, and the missing angle is y. Go ahead, do your calculations and work out y. There's one simple calculation you have to do once you know it's a regular polygon. So you don't even need to find the interior angles. Why? Because it's a regular polygon. It should be done. Okay, we move on to bearings 22. Write the bearing of sailboat P from Nassau Harbor H. So remember, bearing is from north. Go ahead, write the number of degrees for the bearing. The bearing of sailboat P from Nassau Harbor H. Go ahead and do it. You have a calculation to do before you can find the bearing. Do that calculation, then you can find the bearing. Bearing is always taken from north. And you have the north line in on the diagram. So go ahead and get it done. Got it? Waiting. Okay, you should have it by now. Constructions. Construct an angle of 45 degrees. Number 23. Construct an angle of 45 degrees. And some of you may say, what? My teacher never showed me how to construct an angle of 45 degrees. Yes, they did. So you have to construct an angle first and then do something to get an angle of 45 degrees. That's as much as I can help you with, guys. You should know this stuff. You have an exam coming up shortly. There isn't one thing you can do to construct it. You have to do two things and then you get your angle of 45 degrees. Remember, you're constructing pencil and you use your compass, ruler. Go ahead, get it done. Pencil, guys. Okay, we move on to the circle 24. A circular roadside along West Bay Street has a radius of 2 inches. Calculate A, the circumference, and I gave you the formula, and B, the area. Pi is 3.14. Okay, the circumference is pi d or 2 pi r, and the area is pi r squared. You have the formula, so just put your numbers in and work them out. Go ahead, work it quickly. This is straightforward. Remember, you're using pi as 3.14. Stick your numbers in and work it out. Go ahead. I'm waiting on you. Okay, do the area now. Let's go quickly. Got it? Good. Solid geometry 25. Use the solid shape. Find the number of faces, edges, and the vertices. Again, you must know what these terms refer to. You should know what faces are, you should know what edges are, and you should know what vertices are. Count them up, put your numbers in, and that's it. Count the faces, count the edges, count the vertices. That's 3 marks right there, guys. Got it? 26, probability. Write as a fraction in simplest form the probability that this spinner will land on a number that is a factor of 24. Probability spinner will land on a number that is a factor of 24. What are the factors of 24 on the spinner? Find them. Remember, you're writing your answer as a fraction in simplest form. Go ahead, do it. I already have the answer. That's how fast you can do it. Once you know what the factors are, that's important. Okay, move on. 27 combinations. A lunch vendor has ribs, chicken, and curry dinners with corn, coleslaw, and macaroni as sides, and an apple or orange juice to go along with the dinners. How many different combinations of dinners, sides, and juices can students get from this lunch vendor? Combinations, guys. We had one similar to this on the previous test. So if you saw that test, you would know how to work this one. Is one simple thing you have to do to find the combinations. So you have dinners, you have sides, and then you have a drink, juice. Go ahead, calculate it, get it done, put a number in. And number 28, straight line graphs. A, plot the graph y is equal to x minus 2 for values of x from 0 to 2. Use 1 centimeter to represent 1 unit on each axis. B, find the gradient of this equation from the graph. You can find the gradient without using the graph. That's not what they want. They need you to show on the graph how you work to find the gradient. And C, shade in the area of the graph where y is less than x minus 2. So go ahead, it's a lot of working. You don't have much time. Remember, do your table of values and plot the graph. Y is equal to x minus 2 first. Once you get 2 points, draw a line. You don't need more than 2 points to draw a line. You can use more than 2, but that's the use 2 so you can quickly draw it. Perimeter and area 29. Find the area of the shaded part of the shape. So you have some triangles there. You have measurements around. Use the measurements you're given. Find the area of the shaded part of the shape. There's no one way to find the area of that shaded part. You have to do 2 things before you can find the area of that shaded part. What those 2 things are, you should know. Remember, you're dealing with triangles. And you should know the formula for the area of a triangle. It's a half base times height. Go ahead, use it and work them out. Okay, number 30, volume. The volume of a square is given by the formula of V is equal to 4/3 pi r cubed. If the radius of the square is 6 centimeters, find the volume of this square using 3.14 as the value of pi. A lot of working to get done, so go ahead and do it. Put your numbers in. So you know what pi is. Pi is 3.14. You know what the radius is. They gave you the radius, 6 centimeters. So put your numbers in and work it out. You got to work it fast because r cubed, you got to multiply there and find that number. That's a big number. Go ahead, work it. Got it? Not yet? Go ahead. Okay, my 131 algebra. 3 parts to this. 1 solved, and you have 13 minus 2x is equal to 5 and 2. Factorize 5x minus 10 and 3. If a is equal to -1, b is 2, and c is -3, calculate a minus 2b plus c. So solve number 1 first. Quickly do it. Find, solve for x. Tell me what x is equal to. Number 1. Number 2. Give me a number and an expression on the inside of the bracket to factorize. And 3, you're going to calculate it and give me a single number. Put in those values and work it out. See what you get. Let's go. Do it quickly. Okay, we move on to coordinate geometry. 32, plot and join these points. -5, -1, and then -3, 2, and then 4, 2, and then 4, -1. find those points and then join them together to form a shape, a quadrilateral, and name the type of quadrilateral form when you join those points. You're going to get a quadrilateral, a four-sided shape. So name the type of quadrilateral that you get. So you don't say it's a quadrilateral. We know it's a quadrilateral. What type of quadrilateral? There's a special name for this quadrilateral. You have to give it. And we move on to the last one, 33 transformations. Use this grid to answer the following questions. Describe each transformation as a reflection, rotation, or translation. Very simple. You just have to say what it is. Mapping triangle A onto triangle D, mapping triangle A onto triangle B, and mapping triangle A onto triangle C. So it would either be a reflection, a rotation, or a translation. Go ahead, do that quickly. Got it? Last question, guys. Remember, the best part is coming up. You're finding the answers, and here we go. You should have completed it. We go on to the answers now. Let's see how many of those you got correct. Estimation, number 1, you have to round it, so the answer is 8,150 persons. That's the minimum number. It can't go any lower than that, or else you have to round it to 8,100. So that's the lowest number you can round to 8,200. Got it? Very good. Number 2, decimal places. The first 1.26, next 0.89, and the last one was 13.00, because if you add a 9, you wanted to add a 9 to that 9, it'd be 0. It'll give you 10. Then you add a 9 to the next one, it'll give you 10. So you add a 1 to 12, give you 13. So that one was the hardest one, but once you know what to do, you could get that answer. Got them? That's 3 marks right there, guys. Hope you got those correct. Okay, and significant figures, 3. Write these numbers correctly. 2 significant figures. So you want two numbers. And remember, 0 at the front is not significant. 0 at the back isn't either. So the first one is 1.3. The next one was 0.90. And the last one is just 12. To 2 significant figures. Got them? Yeah, these weren't that hard once you know what significant figures mean. B, 0.89, so the 0 wasn't significant at the front. 4 rules on the island of Grand Bahama with the election. So when you did the calculations, you would have had to subtract, and then you would get 32,067 persons. Number, but I don't need a number, I need it in words. So that's the answer in word form, guys. You got it? 32,067 persons. That would be the answer for that in word form. Using a table, complete the following table. The fraction was 1/5 and the decimal 0.2, the percent 20%. For the decimal 0.15, the percent was 15 and the fraction is 3/20. And for 60%, the fraction is 3/5 and the decimal is 0.60 or 0.6. Okay, you got those? You must know how to change from fraction to decimal, from decimal to percent, or backwards. Let's go. Averages. Complete the following table. Now you have to find the mean, the mode, the mean, and the range. The mean, add them up. You add them up and you divide by 5. So it's 30 divided by 5, 6. The mode, the one you see most often is 5. The median, arrange them in order. Pick the middle one. 2, 3, 5, 5, 15. So 5 in the middle. The range. 15 take away 2. 13. Highest take away lowest. Range. So once you know what the words mean, you can work it. Okay, the hardest thing there was the mean or average. Number 7, fractions solved. And I told you change them to improper fractions. Change them to improper and then remove them out of the brackets. Add the front part, subtract the back. So you would get last final answer 5 and 1/5. Okay, you get 39 over 10 times. Remember, you have to multiply to divide when you're dividing. And flip the back fraction upside down, invert the back fraction. So you get 5 and 1/5 as the final answer. Okay, move on to 8 decimals. Again, a table used 1 mile is 1.6 kilometers, and you had 187 miles, so you had to change. So you multiply by 1.6, you should get 299. And remember, we want it to the nearest kilometer. So 299 would be the answer to the nearest kilometer. Okay, you have to round that answer. And we move on to ratio 9, and the amount of crabs caught by Pat to the amount of crabs caught by Fan was 15 to 12, which is 5 to 4. And then B, the ratio to show the amount of crabs caught by Reed, total amount of crabs was 8 to 35. You then have to reduce the last one. The first one you could divide by 3 to reduce 15 and 12. That's where we got 5 to 4. Got it? Okay, proportion. And 2 cups of sweet milk means 2 times x. 2 times the number is 6, so that number was 3. So you multiply 3 by 3 to get 9 cups of gin, and multiply 3 by 13 to get 39 cups of coconut water. Okay, so once you isolated the sweet milk, 2 cups of sweet milk, and get the quantity, you're multiplying by the speed, you got the 9 and the 39. That would be it for that. Okay, simple interest. The simple interest was 125,000 times 5 times 2 over 200. That's important. And it worked out to be $625. And then the amount, add the 625 to the 12,500, $13,125. Okay, but don't get tricked with the fractions. Just change it to an improper and put the number on the bottom. If it was 2, it'll be 200. Whatever you get at the bottom, and then divide, cancel out. Higher purchase. The down payment was 10% of $8,000. Work that out. 10 over 100 times 8,000 works out to be $800. And then how much is each installment? Take the 800 from 9,800 to get 9,000. 9,000 divided by 36. Work it. Do your division. $250. $250 would be the amount of each monthly installment. You had to have been able to divide. Long division, 9,000 divided by 36. Sets and Venn diagrams. So this was the question, and remember you had to draw a Venn diagram in order to work it. And indicate how many students did not like any of the 3 flavors. So that's a number you'd put on the outside of the 3 circles inside the Venn diagram. And this is the Venn diagram that you should get. The numbers exactly where you see them. The number you needed on the outside would be 7. Okay, did you get that? Number on the outside is 7. Very good. And we move on to number 14, squares, cubes, and roots. You have to solve. So square root of 1 is 1. The cube root of 27 is 3. 12 cubed, 12 power 3 is 1,728. And 20 squared is 400. Add the numbers at the front. 1,732 minus 400. 1,332. 1,332, guys. Mark it if you got it. And we move on to wages. Complete the following table. You have to work, I gave you the monthly pay and you have to work backwards to find the weekly. So you just divide by 4 to get the weekly, and then divide that by 5 to get the daily, then divide that by 8 to get the hourly. So those are your numbers there. $6, $48, and then $240. Those numbers will be the answers you have to put in on that table. If you have a monthly pay of $960. Okay, the rate, 16. And A, how many gallons of gas would she need? She'd need 60 divided by 15. So it would be 4 gallons of gas. And then for the round trip, it would be 4 gallons going one way. So it would be 8 gallons. 8 times $4.25, $34. So remember, the round trip is important. One way would just be 4 gallons. But if she went round trip, there and back, is 8. Measurement, 17. So you have to find A, change the amount, 20 pounds to kilograms, multiply by 0.5, so you get 10. 10 kilograms, mark it. And B, change the answer in 80 grams. How much is 10 kilograms of changing into grams? 10,000, you multiply it by 1,000. So it's 10,000 grams. Straightforward. Got it? That was too easy, guys. And we have another measurement coming up. And number 18, where Francis bought 12 pieces of lumber. 12 times 210 inches gives you 2,520 inches. If you want the number in feet, divide by 12. 210 feet. 210 feet. Now B, convert the length of one piece. One piece of lumber is 210. So divided by 12, you get 17 feet 6 inches. Divide 210 by 12. That's it. Integers. Number 19 integers. And New York, the temperatures there, and you have to arrange them in descending order. So you go 5, 0, -2, -3, -5. That's from highest to lowest. The mean would be you add them up and then you divide by 5. You get -1 would be -1 degree would be the mean temperature. Okay, so you should know what descending and ascending mean. And then mean means average. Just add them up and divide. Graphs. 20 the average speed, so you need the distance divided by the time. The distance was 2 miles and the time is 1 hour. 2 divided by 1, 2 miles per hour. That's the speed from home to school. That's it, as simple as that. Okay, once you know what calculation you have to do to solve it. So for the speed is the distance divided by the time. Okay, we get to number 21, geometry, find the missing angle. And I told you there's one thing you have to remember. It's a regular polygon. So it has 6 sides. So 6, you would have 6y is equal to 360 degrees. On the outside, you go straight around, it's 360. So divide 260 by 6, you get 60 degrees. So y would be 60 degrees. Simply because it's a regular polygon that you're dealing with. And that's only the case if it's a regular polygon that you can do that. Bearing number 22, write the bearing of Syllabus P from NASA bridge. And I told you had to figure out an angle first. So if the angle they gave you is 40, you need the other angle. And that would be 50 because it's 90 degrees. And then add 90 to it, so you get 140 degrees for the bearing of Syllabus P from NASA bridge. The bearing is always from north. The blue line shows you the angle. The blue circle shows you the angle you would need for the bearing. But you needed to calculate that 50 degrees first. Constructions, and here is what this construction will look like. First, you construct an angle of 90 degrees, and after you construct the angle of 90 degrees, then you bisect that angle to get an angle of 45 degrees. So that's what you have to do in order to work it out. First, angle of 90 degrees, and then you bisect it. You bisect the angle of 90 degrees to get the angle that you need, which is 45 degrees. So you have to do 2 things there, and I told you that at the beginning. 2 things you have to do to get it. Circle, 24. A, the circumference was 3.14 times 2 times 2. Work that out. You get 12.56 inches for the circumference. So that's pi times r times pi times 2r. Or 2 pi r. That's 12.56. Then you have to do the area. Area between 3.14 times 2 times 2. So you get 12.56 square inches. And you get the same thing because it's 2 you're dealing with. That's why the answer remained the same. Solid geometry. 25, the faces are 5, the edges are 8, the vertices are 5, guys. Faces would be the flat surfaces, the edges would be the lines that you count the vertices. Would be where 2 of those edges meet, where 2 of the lines meet would be the vertices. Okay, and that gives you the numbers there. You add the faces and the vertices, and that should be 2 more than the edges. Probability 26, and how many numbers are factors of 24? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 8. All of those are factors of 24. So it's 6 numbers divided by 8, and you get 3/4. Remember, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 8. Yeah, all of those are factors of 24. 5 and 7 are not. Hope you did not get tricked by that one, guys. And we move on to 27 combinations. So you need to know how many dinners first, 3 dinners, how many sides, 3 sides, and how many drinks, types of drink, 2. So it's 3 times 3 times 2, 18 combinations. So you have to multiply to get your combinations, and that is what you would get. 18 different combinations from what the lunch vendor has to offer in terms of dinner, sides, and juices. Got it? Number 20, straight line graph, plot the graph, and then you have to find the gradient on the graph and then shade in an area on the graph. Okay, so first of all, you plot that graph and use any 2 points to draw your line, get your graph done. First thing, 1 centimeter represents 1 unit on each axis. So go ahead. This is what it would look like. So you have your x and y axis, and then you have your line, and the gradient you have to plot. See, we have those red lines on it, and I have 3 and 3. that gives you the gradient, but 1, the gradient is 1, and then you find a point where you have the red x 2 2, and you put it into y is less than x minus 2, and you get 2 is less than 0. That's false, so you can't shade to the top of that line, you have to shade to the bottom. Okay, perimeter and area 29, find the area to shade the part of the shape. I told you how to do 2 calculations. Find the area of triangle ABC first, and that would be 10 square centimeters, and then find the area of ABD, the smaller triangle, worked out to be 6 square centimeters. Subtract, and you would get 4 square centimeters. This is the final answer for the area of the shaded region. So find the area of the bigger triangle and the smaller triangle, then subtract, and you get the area of that shaded region. Volume, put your numbers in. 4 times 3.14 times 6 times 6 times 6, all over 3. When you work that out, then you should get 904.32 cubic centimeters. Remember, for area, square units, and for volume, it's cubic units. Why? You multiplied centimeters 3 times for this. So a lot of working for the 6 to the power 3, 6 cubed. That's it. Algebra 31, the first one. X is 4 when you work it down, and then the factorization would be 5 in bracket x minus 2, and then when you put your values in to a minus 2b plus c, be careful with your negative numbers, guys. And then you would get -1, -4, -3. You have to add them. You get -8 as the answer for number 3. And we move on, coordinate geometry. Plot and join the points. When you join those points, you get that shape there. And what shape is that? It's a trapezium. Yeah, 2 of those sides are parallel. A pair of sides parallel, and that is a trapezium or trapezoid. Any of those would be correct. And that's straightforward once you plot the points. And finally, transformations. 33. Describe each transformation. So mapping triangle A onto D was a translation, A onto B was a reflection, and A onto C was a rotation. Guys, you got those? That was simple and straightforward. You didn't have to describe the movements, the transformation. You just had to say what was what. Translation, a reflection, and a rotation. That's it, guys. That's the last question. Thank you for watching. Hope you did well on this test. If not, don't worry. You have another test coming up for you next week to help you prepare for the BJC examinations. Okay, remember, if you do well on these tests, you will surely do well on the BJC Mathematics examination. And I am here to help you. God bless you. Remember to subscribe and share me out. See you in the next one. That's a wrap.